You know, back in the day when I was training for Mr. Olympia, people would always ask me, Arnold, what are you going to do next? What's your next move? And I'd look them in the eye and tell them you'll see it when it hits you like a freight train. That's power. That's strategy. That's exactly what we are seeing now on the world stage with India. The West, my friends, they are watching, they are calculating, and you can bet your last protein shake, they are worried. Not because India is reckless, no. It's because India is focused. It's planning. It's lifting heavier than ever. And it's not asking for permission. This isn't the old story of empires rising and falling. This is something new, something more disciplined, more methodical. It's the story of a country that has taken its knocks, done its reps, and is now flexing with purpose. India has been in the gym of global politics for decades, building muscle, sharpening focus, learning how to endure pain. And now it's stepping onto the stage. And let me tell you something, the spotlight is already shifting. You can feel it. Now why is the West nervous? Why are they pacing like an out-of-shape gym bro who skipped leg day? It's because they know India isn't playing the same game anymore. It's setting the tempo, it's choosing its battles. It's building alliances not out of desperation but out of design. We're talking military strength, economic independence, energy strategies, digital infrastructure. It's all part of a bigger plan. And just like in bodybuilding, it's the consistency over time that builds the real dominance. Look at energy, Ja. The world's got this addiction to oil and gas. It's like a bad habit. And for years countries have been dependent on the same few suppliers, the same networks, the same choke points. But India is diversifying. They're creating relationships with Russia, the Middle East, even investing heavily in renewables like solar and hydrogen. And this isn't just about saving the planet, it's about not being held hostage when things go sideways. That's called controlling your fuel intake. You think I'd win Mr. Universe without controlling my diet? No way. Same thing. India is building energy autonomy, and that terrifies the old world powers who prefer things predictable. Now the military, oh, don't get me started. Everyone's watching China flexing its muscles in the South China Sea, but guess who's been upgrading its arsenal, modernizing its forces, and developing hypersonic capabilities without the loud noise? India. The Western think tanks, they know it. Their generals, they read the intel. This isn't a sleeping tiger, it's a focused one, and it's been in the cave too long. When it steps out, it's not to roar, it's to dominate the terrain. But you know what really gets them sweating in their Armani suits? It's not the hardware. It's not even the software. It's the mindset. India is not thinking like the 1990s anymore. This is a country that has unlocked a new level of self-awareness. It's not about being a service economy for Silicon Valley or a buyer of overpriced weapons. No, now they want to be producers, innovators, rule makers. And that shift in mentality, that scares the hell out of people used to being in charge. Think of semiconductors. Everyone's scrambling. The US and Europe are throwing billions into chip manufacturing because they're tired of relying on Taiwan and South Korea. But quietly, silently, India's making moves. They're attracting investments, building fabs, and training an army of engineers. That's the long game. Like building a championship body, you don't bulk in one day. You build the structure, muscle by muscle, rep by rep. India is doing that in tech, and once it arrives, it's not going to ask to sit at the table, it's going to build its own damn table. And then there's the digital currency wave. Everyone thought the big fight would be between the US and China, dollar versus digital yuan. But guess who's rolling out a digital rupee with pilot programs, with control, with vision? India. And they're not trying to replace the dollar, they're building an alternative for 1.4 billion people and their trading partners. That's not rebellion. That's evolution. That's like showing up to a powerlifting competition and bringing your own gym. People will laugh until you outlift everyone in the room. And we have to talk about space. Yes, space. People laughed at India's space missions years ago. They mocked the budgets, the designs, the timing. But who put a spacecraft on the south pole of the moon, huh? India. They did it at a fraction of the cost of NASA or ESA. That's efficiency. That's discipline. That's Indian hustle. And it shows that they're not just in the race. They're running smart. They're lean. They're focused. They're doing it their way. That's what I respect most. You see, in the West, people got used to being the center of gravity. The media, the banks, the political frameworks. It was all made to serve the same narrative that leadership only comes from a few elite places. But now, with every major move India makes, whether it's the G20 presidency, the BRICS expansion, or the neutral but strategic position in global conflicts, it's showing that the future is multipolar. And the West doesn't like losing the mirror, because when they look into it now, they don't just see themselves, they see India getting bigger in the frame. But don't misunderstand me. Okay, this isn't about East versus West. This isn't about good guy versus bad guy. That's Hollywood thinking. This is about balance. This is about presence. And India is demanding to be seen, not with arrogance, but with strength. Because power is not given. Power is taken, earned, just like every title I ever won, just like every role I ever played. And now India is playing its role on the global stage. And it's not a side character. It's moving into the lead. Why do you think there's so much lobbying, so many backdoor meetings, so many double standards being exposed? Because the status quo is being challenged by a country that's done its homework. They're playing chess, not checkers. While others are reacting emotionally, India is staying cool, calculated. They're doing exactly what I did when I came to America with nothing but a dream and a duffel bag. I didn't complain. I didn't beg. I worked. I lifted. I studied. I built. And eventually they had no choice but to give me the spotlight. That's what India is doing. You think the West fears India because of its size? No. They fear its clarity, its momentum, its independence. It's no longer a client state, no longer just a market. It's a competitor, a creator, a future shaper. And when someone rises who doesn't owe you anything, who doesn't fit your mold, who doesn't care what you think of them, that's scary. That's exactly how I felt walking into my first US gym where nobody knew my name. I wasn't there to fit in, I was there to dominate. And listen, I'm not here to romanticize everything. India has its problems. Corruption, inequality, pollution, yes, those are real. But guess what? So did I. I had language barriers, no connections, no money. You overcome them by showing up again and again, stronger every time. And India's showing up on every front, with grit, with purpose, with vision. That's why you're seeing this global anxiety now, not open hostility, but discomfort. The kind of discomfort that comes when the weights get heavier, when the reps get harder, and the guy next to you is still pushing harder than ever. India is not trying to burn the house down. It's trying to build a skyscraper next door. And the neighbors don't like how fast it's going up. So now we're at a crossroads. India knows its power. The West sees it too. The question is, what's the next move? Because every move from now on changes the game. In trade, in tech, in defense, in ideology. And mark my word, it will not be a move made from fear. It will be made from strength, from strategy, from decades of preparation and vision. This is not about dominating the world. No. That's the old way of thinking. That's the outdated model. Empires pushing, pulling, grabbing. But this what India is doing. It's different. This is about shaping the world. Like clay in the hands of a sculptor. Like steel being forged in fire. Like muscle built rep by rep, day after day. Without applause, without shortcuts, just pure dedication. This is about creation, not conquest. You see, domination is about fear. Shaping is about vision. And right now, India isn't trying to own the world. It's trying to mold the future in a way that reflects its values, its culture, its power, its identity. It's not copying anyone. It's not begging for a seat at the table. It's building a table that others will want to sit at. That's power. That's legacy. That's what makes the old world nervous. Not that India is aggressive, but that India is confident. For too long people waited for others to validate, to clap for them, to approve their growth. But the ones who truly rise, who truly build, they don't wait for permission. They don't wait for applause. They get to work. They keep moving. They show results. And then one day the world has no choice but to pay attention. India is stepping forward with its own vision, clear, unshaken, focus. It's saying we're here, and we're not asking for recognition. We are the recognition. We're not waiting for anyone to hand us a title. We are the top. That's the mindset that changes history. That's the energy that builds legends. And let me tell you something, from the gym to the global stage, it's always the same formula. Vision, action and relentless consistency. You can try to contain that. You can throw rules at it. Sanctions, narratives, labels. You can try to wrap it in red tape, flood it with distractions, pressure it with diplomacy. But you can't stop it. You can't stop momentum that's built from pain, from resilience, from centuries of lessons, turned into fuel. It's like trying to stop a freight train with a paper wall. It's already coming. And the best you can do is choose whether you'll fight it or ride with it. Because India, it's not reacting, it's acting. Not with emotion, but with strategy. Not with noise, but with discipline. And let me tell you, discipline always wins in the long run. It wins in the gym. It wins in business. It wins in geopolitics. Anyone can make noise. Only the strong make impact. And right now the weight is heavy. You can feel it in the world. Conflict, competition, crisis. It's like the whole globe is under a barbell, and everyone sweating under the pressure. This is the test. This is the lift that defines the set. And in this moment, only the real champions rise. Only the ones who trained for this. The ones who didn't skip rest. The ones who didn't take shortcuts. The ones who didn't take shortcuts. The ones who didn't get soft when times were easy. India's rising because it's earned it. Not through force, but through grunt, through intellect, through long-term thinking. While others were stuck in cycles, in games, in temporary victories, India was building, quietly, patiently, like a bodybuilder training in the off-season. No lights, no camera, just brutal focus. And now it's stage time. And the crowd is watching. There's a shift happening. You can feel it in the air. It's no longer about who shouts the loudest. It's about who delivers, who shows up with solutions, who stands tall when others fall. That's what separates the real leaders from the talkers. That's what India is doing now. Leading, not by posing, but by influencing. Not by demanding, but by demonstrating. You look at the new generation coming up in India. They're not thinking small. They're not dreaming of leaving. They're building at home, innovating, creating, owning the future. They're launching startups, sending rockets into space, coding the next breakthroughs, speaking on global stages, not as underdogs, but as equals. That's not a fluke. That's not luck. That's not luck. That's smart preparation meeting opportunity. And the older powers, the ones used to steering the ship, they feel it. They sense the shift. And that's why they're uneasy. Because when someone rises with that kind of hunger, that kind of purpose, that kind of self-belief, you can't predict what happens next. You just know you're no longer alone at the top. And when the field levels out, the real game begins. This is not some fairy tale rise. It's gritty. It's complex. It's full of challenges. But that's what makes it real. That's what makes it powerful. Nobody handed India this moment. It carved it out with its own hands. Piece by piece. Brick by brick. Decision by decision. And when you build something yourself, when you lift that weight on your own, you don't let anyone take it from you. This is the time when leaders show themselves. Not when it's easy. When it's hard. When the stakes are high. When every move counts. When every eye is watching. That's when champions are made. And India right now is stepping into that moment. Not because it has to. Because it's ready. Because it's earned the right to be there. You know, back when I was chasing the Olympia title, nobody believed I could do it. I had the accent, the strange name, the odd background. They said you don't belong here. And I said watch me. And I trained harder, smarter. I visualized the victory before it ever came. That's exactly the mindset I see in India today. It's not shouting. It's showing. It's not waiting. It's taking. It's not hoping. It's doing. So let them talk. Let the world speculate. Let the critics write their headlines. Because none of that changes the trajectory of a force that is already locked in its direction. The wheels are moving.
The engines are firing. And the next move, it's coming with precision, with strength, with purpose. Because the story isn't about domination, it's about transformation. And India is asking for the world to change for it. It's changing itself, and by doing that it's changing the world. And when you see something rise like that, with clarity, with muscle, with fire in its eyes, you better believe it's going to make history. So get ready, because when the weight is heavy, and the whole world is watching, that's when the real champions rise. And now India is rising. Get ready.